bwana yako amekuja. Ai, niko na bwana. Ati si amejiandikisha pale kama bwanako. I was not excited that he came. I was surprised that he came. Yani, for once, he came. Hi guys, my name is Valentine Muthoki. I'm a mother to one beautiful girl, and I'm also a lawyer, and this is my Bun In The Oven story. How did I know that I'm pregnant? This is how it all began. So I'm in class. I was a third year student. I was a fourth year student. I was in my last semester in school. So nimeenda shule. I'm thinking, why am I feeling dizzy? Nasikia tu kizunguzungu yani. I'm feeling, I'm going to nenda kuingia matatu, but I'm feeling, this matatu is not for me. This is not what I want to. Makanga kwanza hata ananikasirisha. How does he even look? Nikashuka hiyo mat, nikaingia mat next. I'm thinking, manze, pia wewe Val, unaringa sana. So I went in, I took a matatu, nikaenda shule. I'm feeling so dizzy. I'm going to enter into a class, nasikia hapana. I really feel like ni kama nataka kuanguka. Msichana akaamua, wacha niende nitafute pregnant. And this was like, I think, a week after I think I was pregnant. So I went to the nurse, the school nurse. The school nurse tells me, sister, uko nayo. So that's how I knew I was pregnant. That was like a week before. I mean, a week after, the symptoms started coming in. So I'm thinking, how did I get pregnant? How do I know I'm pregnant? I mean, how am I pregnant, me, at 23? Because I was 23 and I was in the last semester. So I was thinking, sasa ndambia wazazi aje, because parents are not as easy. Our pastor's kid. So it was not easy. I was thinking, how will I break the news? Because breaking the news is quite hard. It is very hard, especially when you're coming from a background where communication is not key. You do not have a voice. So you don't know how to explain yourself. How will I tell them? Nitawambiaje, Miss Perfect is not as perfect because you're not perfect. So that was the first time. So I knew I was pregnant in a week's time when I got pregnant. So the news was, how will I break it to the supposed dad the father of the child? Because we're not in good terms. I was not married, still a child. By all means and standards, I'm still a child. So nikaamua niambie ndugu, we are pregnant. So I text him, I tell him, hi, I think I'm pregnant. He calls me immediately and says, ati umesema? I'm pregnant. Ni ya nani? Ni yako. Aje Val. Then he hangs up. He said, ebu acha ndakupigia. So he hangs up and says, I'll call you back. So he never did. He never called me back. He calls me I think 2 months later. We, ati ulisema uko na? Niko na ball. Uko nayo bado? Okay. Sawa, ndakukol. So he hangs up again. So I'm thinking, this is like month number 3 into my pregnancy. I haven't told my parents I am pregnant. I'm dealing with this all alone and I need to do my final exams. So what will I do? You see, now with all the stress that comes with the information that you cannot share to anyone else, because Mama Valentine is steamer. She's like a whole lioness. So I'm dealing with this. So I tell him again, what will we do? Because this is the first 3 months. So this is like the first trimester in the 3 trimesters. I haven't gone to any clinic because I don't know how to start or where to start, because this is my first time. I don't know what people do when they are pregnant or not pregnant. This information, it was all new to me. So I didn't know what to do to the guy. I'm expecting, because he's a bit more experienced, he will tell me or guide me, because he was like way older than I was. So when he says, I'll call you back, this is like Another 2 weeks later he calls, ulisema bado uko na ile ball. I'm thinking, aki wewe si kadoli ati I put it aside, when you call I'll confirm, I still have it. I told him niko nayo bado, sasa utadu. Niko like mimi sijui, but tutajua. Sasa ukijua unishow. So he hangs up. And then your time Sauti Sol had the song ile ya Nerea had just come up, so it was like a banger. So me, I'm asleep one morning, I'm thinking, now what will I do to this child? Because I don't know if I shall tell my parents, should I tell my brother, should I tell my cousins? I don't know who to tell, because I don't know, because the person that I expected nikimwambia atabadilika or ataniambia maybe let's work it out, let's do this. He was alikuwa tu MIA. So he sends me I'm asleep one morning, naamka napata Nakuomba Nerea. I'm like, sitoi mimba, sikusema natoa, but why are you sending me this one? Ati mtoto anakujanga na sahani yake, so let's do this. Okay, the guy assures me that we are doing this, so let's do this. I knew now I'm set, totally and completely. We are set, we are doing this. So this is around month number 4. So I asked him, ulisema we are doing this, so how do we do this? Because I haven't started my clinics yet, and by now I should have started my clinics. Nafaa kuwa nilienda clinic, I should have done something with this pregnancy to make sure iko sawa. He says nitakushow, then he hangs up. I call him a week later, we bado huku nishow. We relax Val, nitakushow, relax. So that's like a whole week later. In the midst, he calls me again and says, Val, itakuwa ngumu, you just know what you will do with your life. I'm like, hey, so what happened to the Nerea song? I go like, heat of the moment. Said, okay, fine, no problem, I'll do it. Aina shida, I'll know what to do. So this is like it's around 3 weeks to the final exam, because this was my last semester in school. It's African parents, they don't pay school fees yote pamoja, but now they need to pay so that I do my exam. But then I need to tell my mother I am pregnant, which I have not done 4 months down the line. So it was in 2015. It was on April 1st. It was on a Friday. So my mother goes to Kesha. If you all remember, she's a pastor. So si ameenda Kesha, I decide this is the day that the Lord has been waiting for. He has made it and created it. Come text. I texted my mother. Hi mom, I'm pregnant. It was around 10 p.m. Si alikuwa ameenda Kesha. I knew if she gets this information, at least ako kwa nyumba ya Bwana, she will not overreact. So at least she'll calm down and she'll know how to react appropriately. That's what I meant. So si bin my texts, mother nimemwambia, hey mom, I'm pregnant. I'm waiting for her super reaction in the morning. So around 5:30 a.m. she opens the room to my bedroom. I had a bed and then a seat, like next to my bed was a seat. So I was sleeping on the seat because when I was pregnant, I felt like the bed was not so comfortable. I always slept on that seat that was in my room. So she sits on the bed and ananiamsha. Oh, my nickname is Sweetie. Sweetie, amka. So I wake up. Unajua ni April Fools? I say yes. Na ulini text? Yes. Why are you pranking me? Are you serious? Yes. You're pregnant? Yes. Valentine, in this day and age, you do not know the meaning of the word contraceptives. Na venye umesoma. She was so disappointed. But she was extremely, and I mean extremely disappointed. So akaniambia, I'll talk to you later. She banged my door and left. Like, hakuna kesho. So venye alifunga mlango akaenda, it was around 5:30. I never got to sleep again. So I'm thinking, haya, nimemwambia. Hawajamaliza kulipa school fees. How will I finish campus? So she comes in like at around 8 a.m. See, she had come in way earlier. She comes in at around 8 a.m. Sweetie, amka. Usema uko na mimba? Utamaliza shule? Niko like nimebakisha wiki 2. Haya, enda utafute school fees. Aki, I'm not working. Where will I get my school fees from? Ati ama, I have a bright idea. Pigia baba mtoto, mwambie hujalipa school fees yote. Mwambie kulipie because aliamua utakuwa bibi yake. I'm thinking, already ile jamaa ni kama ako MIA, ni venye ni venye haezi sema ako MIA cause I mean what does he have to lose? So I told my mom, wewe jua tu venye utadu. Ka utanilipia school fees, it's okay. If not, it's okay. But now this was like the 4th month. 2 weeks to exam room. So nimeingia after our conversation with my mom, I went to school the next day. My stomach was paining. I felt like everything is not in order. Something is definitely wrong down here. The oven is not being the oven. Something is burning. I felt like ni kama nilikuwa na contractions, yani like premature labor, ni kama mtoto anataka kutoka sahi. I believe it was the hardest moment of my life. Yani ilikuwa tu mbaya. It was so painful. It was some unit, I can't remember what it was, but I remember the lecturer. I was seated back kabisa nyuma ya class, and normally I'm a front bencher. So he asked me, Valentine, why are you at the back? I'm saying, me, I'm not feeling well. Are you sure? Do we need to call an ambulance? I'm saying no. But how I got myself in hospital, Missy, because I stood up and blood was trickling. I'm thinking, this is the end of it. Nerea kuisha sisi. So see, I'm taken to hospital. I was told I was having premature contractions, and the baby wanted to come out. So at least they managed it. Some medicines, kidogo, they managed it. Wakanipatia dawa. I think it held. So that's around month number 4. Hapo bado hatujamaliza the first trimester. I think going into the second trimester. So she asked me, did you know you are pregnant? I didn't feel like it was my portion to tell them that I knew. Niko like, mimi sikuwa najua. So yeah, you're pregnant and the baby wanted to come out, so that's how we are managing it, nini. And have you started your clinics? I told them, I've just told you I didn't know I was pregnant. So singeanza clinics kama I didn't know I was pregnant. She said, now you need to go for antenatals. I said, sawa, nitaenda. So it's fine, because that was a school clinic. I mean, the school hospital. The school had taken me to hospital. So that was not the place I could start my clinics from. Nikambo nitaenda clinic baadaye after school, obviously. So si nimemaliza shule, tumefanya exams, nikaenda nyumbani. So I need to go to clinic. Remember, my mother is still mad. Yani she's raging. Hata ukimwona hakuongeleshi, amenuna tu. She doesn't feel like you need to talk to her that particular moment. You're the greatest sinner of all. So she says, Miss Sweetie, sioni kama tutaishi nyumba moja, sasa wewe enda ukolewe. Na jamaa alishaniruka. So I call him and tell him, Mr. Man, now we need to, nimefukuzwa home. So what do we do? He says, sauta do. I'm like, aya, sanita do. I don't have a place to go. He says, manze, ebu we fikiria, alafu utanishow. I'm like, ndafikiria aje alafu nikushow? Nataka tufikirie tuambiane. He says, Val, nitakukall. I knew bas, this is another 2 months. So he cut out the phone. Who else do I call? I call my brother. Bro, manze, kameumana. Nakaa sikuwa nimekushow, niko na ball. Ako like, fantastic, I'm going to be an uncle, nini. I'm like, lakini, itabidi umenitafutia place ya kukaa cause siwezi kaa home. He says, fine, I'm coming. So he comes and picks me and takes me to his house. He's a bachelor, nuwezi katsia kijana. So I eventually ended up staying at my auntie's house. My auntie didn't know I was pregnant. The whole time I was there, she was like, huku kwangu ni kuzuri, naona watoto wanakanga wananona, hebu ona venye Sweetie ananona. I'm like, I didn't know. She didn't know until I told her. But I told her, I think, way later into the pregnancy. So the whole time I was at my auntie's, I hadn't started clinic at all. Because sasa, I cannot call myself a dropout because I haven't finished my project work in campus. So I do not have a job. I am broke and I cannot tell my auntie, si kunona, ni kama niko nako, so nipatie doni in the clinic. No, I cannot do that. So the whole time, I think during my second trimester, it was really hard because nausea, kugonjeka miguu, and then I still have to pretend that I'm not pregnant. I'm just there, you know. So this is now my second trimester of the pregnancy. So the whole time I'm at home, I don't know what to do. I don't know how people hata sijui antenatals watu wanashinda wameniambia, I don't know what they are. I was so naive. I didn't know what to do with life. Yani, I was just there. Niko na songa na mkondo. If I wake up one morning and the baby wants milk, I'll take milk. if she wants githeri, I'll convince everyone in the house, tumekawia kula githeri and we will eat it, but no one really knew. Okay, expect my mother, because you know at that particular moment, being a pastor and all, I think alikuwa na feel very ashamed. I do not blame her at all, but she could not tell anyone. She was like, ni news yake ndani ndani. But I think my dad knew, but then again, being the African dad, haezi niuliza. So we were just there. Everyone were in a limbo. No one knows what to do. Tuko tu yani. So my second trimester was just there. There was nothing much. Waking up in the morning, sleeping, kuamka kulala, even. I didn't go for clinics or anything until around karibu second trimester ish, and I'm telling my friend, by the way, unajanga na ball. She says, umeenda clinic? I'm like, no, your child can die. I'm like, she can? Okay, I didn't know it was a she, but she said it can be potentially dangerous to the child. So I said, me jusina do, me I don't know what to do. I had bought nothing. I had zero policy. When I wake up in the morning, I didn't know how I was going to give birth to this human or how she was going to grow, but all I knew was I wanted her. I wanted to see the one that was growing inside me, because he or she was making me the most happy. So my friend says, kuna kagig nimeitiwa, I'll give you the money. I'll give you every single shilling that I get out of it. And then you will go to clinic and then you tell me how it goes. So I say, fine. I think the gig did not go through or something. And then around the same time, another old friend of mine came back into my life. And he's like, kwaje, we need to meet, go have lunch. And I tell him, I can't move because I can't. I'm not at my element at this particular moment. So he wanted to know more, like, why are you not? You're normally very bubbly. Squeeze huongei, squeeze umejificha nini. So I tell him, I'm pregnant and this is what has been happening in my life. He says, fine. So mesema ujaenda clinic, fine, I'll send you money. So he sent me money. That was the first time I went for clinic. And now we had already moved to the third trimester. Third trimester, actually, like around 3 months you give birth. So when he said, I went straight to clinic. I went to clinic. So I went to clinic, blood test, nini. They established everything is okay. That is when I started taking the folic acid. These are vitu zote zenye mnapewanga at that time. So I started taking them. And then she tells me, the lady nurse that I found, we are way later into this pregnancy, so we wouldn't know if we need to manage any other condition that we can't see now. But tutajua tu, we'll know how it all goes down. She was very nice. The lady, she was called Leah, the nurse. Every time I went to clinic, I used to find her. She said, since wewe hujakuja since trimester ya kwanza, you need to make sure you come to clinic at least twice a week or thrice a week. But it was not so expensive. I think it was 50 bob, because when you go to these small clinics, wanajuanga how to treat you, or they are within the budget. Because my main concern was, how much is it to give birth? Because now, since tuko month number 3, trimester number 3, and I know it's about time, I need to figure out how much money I need to come up with for delivery. I also need to know how much money I will spend for the child. Yani akikuja, what will she wear? Diapers, is it nappies? Because again, I was broke and jobless. And then what else? Financially, that was all was running into my mind. So when I was going to that clinic, hata nilikuwa naenda because it was Catholic sponsored, and I knew hata kama itakuwa expensive, it will not be overboard. You know, if I'm supposed to sell something just to make myself comfortable and the child akuje vizuri, I will afford it. Either sell something, do something. You never know. Hata ukiniambia nioshe huko, it won't take me a year to come up with the money. So this clinic I went, I think it was 50 bob per, ukionekana 50 bob per clinic, it was 50 bob. So I think that was not so hard to manage. And by that time, I had already told my auntie, by the way, sikunona, you know, utumbo pia ilikuwa haiwezi fichika sana. So So she says, sweetie, hiyo ni vizuri. Ni vizuri sana by the way. But sasa lazima urudi kwenu. Juu huwezi zalia huku na mamako ako tu hapa Nairobi. So at the end of the day, I had to go back home. I had to find a way to go home. So I called my brother again. I'm telling, by the way, auntie alijua but hajanifukuza, but ananiambia ni mzuri urudi nyumbani. I said fine. Baba said sawa tutafigure out. So I think he went to talk to my mom or something, and then I went back home. So this was like a month to me giving birth. So my brother asked me, na by the way, unashinda umeniambia uko na vitu za mtoto? Hakuna kitu umenunua? Kwa nini? Mimi sina do. He says, okay, fine, I'll give you money. So he gives me one. He says, he doesn't earn a lot by the way, but he says, I'll give you money because, I'm the younger sister. So he gives me money, we go for nikanua vitu, including the other friend of mine that I mentioned. So they were a great help. I bought things. This is like a month to giving birth. And then my brother goes like, na by the way, sweetie, ungechukua NHIF. I say, by the way, ungechukua NHIF. Ako like, ebu enda ulize kama ukichukua saa hii itakusort. Nikaenda, so I went to NHIF akasema, lazima utangoja around 3 months ndio iweze kufunction. I said fine, but acha tu nichukue just in case because you never know. He says fine. Kachukua NHIF. So that was my plan. Hata nikizaa na nikose pesa, watanifungia kwa hiyo usi mpaka 3 months ishe ndio watoe do yao hapo juu mimi sina option nyingine. That was my plan A to Z. As you can remember, my mother is not talking to me. My dad, I don't know, we used to talk, but we are not in that space that we can talk about every other thing. And my brother is game. So we go home. He takes me back home. Mama looks at me, na umenona? I'm like, yes, niko na mimba. He says, sawa basi. Umenunua vitu za mtoto? Sawa. I think that was the first time she talked to me in 6 months. And equati ile kuongea ile word moja. But I was really feeling like, imagine it was not in her position to not be on my side because I'm the only daughter. So at some point within this 1 month, we mended fences. She was coming around because eventually you have to come around. And then during it, my antenatal care, they had told me I'm giving birth to a girl. So when I went home, my dad goes like, clinic ulienda aje? Nikamwambia walisema ni kasichana. My mother overheard. I think she was in the kitchen. That was her turning point. Si utaniita mimi? So that was her turning. That is when she decided now we can be friends. So everything went well. Kila kitu ilikuwa sawa. Within this I don't think that pregnancy was problematic. I think emotionally it was, but physically it was okay. So within this 1 month, marathon, I had a due date for, I think, September 30th. That was when I was supposed to give birth. But then again, mtoto, I think, alipitisha. So within this 1 month, we bought things. I got prepared. And then I called back my jamaa. Brother, tuko karibu kuzaa. Ako like, aya, bado iko. I'm like, wow. Okay, ulikuwa unatakaje? Ati, mimi sikuwa najua iko. So ulibuy basin? Niko like, iko, but diapers haziko. Ndakupigia. Hands up. I'm like, hey, this life is not for the faint-hearted. Haya. So see, him, I think I call him occasionally just because I think I need drama in my life. Pole tu. Yani seti, I know he will not help. But then again, ni mzuri kumu-update. So like, I think after, when my due date ilifika, I knew I was expecting my child that day. Yani hata tu feelings tulikuwa tunanishow leo ndo ile siku. But then she didn't come. So doc akasema we can always wait. It is not as dire as I would think it is. Because as a first time mom, I was overreacting. I'm thinking mlisema ni leo, so lazima ni leo. Kama si leo mtu yata dedi, and she was all I was waiting for. I felt like even if the world was against me, that would be the one person that I believe will have stood by me. So 30th kapita, due date kapita, tunangoja tu, niko tu hapo, I'm in a limbo, I'm waiting. I don't know what to expect now, because I mean, the one parent that had experience, we are not exactly on the same page, you know. So we waited tarehe 1, tarehe 2, and then another friend of mine calls me, hey, mimi bedhe nimezaa. Na ujue wewe wako kwa barabara anakuja. I'm like, hey, so nigoje? Wewe hata utakaa siku mbili. Niko like, okay, sawa basi hata nigoje. So on October 5th at around 7 p.m. nikaanza kusikia kauchungu kamepita shwa. Oh, and then nurse alikuwa ametuambia, as in during the antenatal clinics, going back kidogo, that particular nurse, she was called Leah. She was very nice. Alikuwa anakuambia every single thing to expect. Every little thing anakuambia ukifanya hivi, you can expect this, you can expect this. And if this does not happen, utafanya hivi na hivi na hivi. I'm like, okay. So I knew if I feel some sort of contraction, ama some sort of maybe cramping pain ama period pain, utajua this is how it all goes down. So the first time ilikuja, nili-ignore. I was like, hii maybe tu nikamgongo kamisikia kidogo tu. So we move on. And then now contractions can come regularly. So zinachana na period ya 30 minutes, 25. So zilianza hiyo late. Around 3 a.m., that is when they became like super consistent. And then the nurse had told me, ukianza kusikia contraction, you record. And then uangalie time differences. So by the time zifike range zimeachana 10 minutes, you know it's about time to come to hospital. I said fine. Then sasa nitajua what to do. So mimi na record naona hizi vitu ziliachana 30, 20, 25, tumefika 15, ni around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And then I needed to do my hair. I'm thinking hapana, mtoto hizi kuja leo, sijashuka nywele, sijui sijafanya nini. I haven't done a lot of things. So hapana, she cannot come today, she has to wait, lazima niende salon. So nikoza mama, naweza enda salon. Ako like, wewe enda, tumbo ni yako. So I went. So natengenezwa crumbs zinakuja. Niko like, zinakuja. Tuwa salon ambia relax, kidogo tu tungoje. Zinashuka alafu we go. So I made my hair, nikarudi kwa hao. By then contractions zangu I think hata zilikuwa 5 or 4 minutes apart. So mimi nikafika home nikamwambia mama, hizi contractions baby ziko 4 minutes. Unasikia kunipeleka hosi ama? She says fine, twende. Says let's take the car. From where my mother used to stay, and that clinic was not so far. I think it was around, when you walk normally, it was around 6 minutes walk. So I told her badala twende na gari, so we just walk. Badala nifike hospitali niambwe na walk around the hospital again. Let's just do the walking now. Ndio tukifika, everything is ready to pop. She says fine. So your hospital bag iko ready, I just pick it because it was, I think I had packed it when I first bought my baby's clothes. I knew hizi ndo tunaenda nazo hospitali, yani kama sio hizi hakuna zingine. Everything was ready and good. So I just picked my bag and we went. Yani hiyo distance ya 6 minutes yenye nimewashow, it took me 2 hours, 2 long hours to walk, because I will walk, contractions come, I have to stand, and then it was so painful. And then so we go to hospital. Nikafika, obviously the first thing is let's pima kama umedilate. And I goes like, hiya, we are 8 centimeters. I'm like, yes, let's do this. We go to hospital at around, I think 11:30, 12, going to 12. Because lunch was being served. Hey, sasa, nurses, they decided they'll give me food before delivery because, you have to have energy before delivery. Hey, wakeka hapo. Sijui nyama na ugali na supu. I think that was it. I just remember the pungent smell. That smell was so yani sijasikia harufu mbaya dunia kama harufu hiyo chakula. Nilionja hivi, everything went down. Nilitapika na uliza nasi, mbona mnanipatia kitu inakaa hivi? Not being ungrateful, but I mean, why is it so stinky? Hapana, hainuki, ni wewe uko na shida. But kutapika ni vizuri, na maanisha you're ready to go. So some people have their water break, but mine didn't. So they had to, lazima wakaidunga, ikamwagika. They were like, oh, that's how it goes down. Okay, didn't even feel it. Kanambia goja kidogo tu, mtoto atakuja. That was around, I think 11:30 going to 12, because lunch na serve wangu around your time. So obviously contractions come in and go. Let's go back to the NHIF story. So when I got in, they wanted money for registration, and then they asked my mom, mko na NHIF? Niko like, iko hapo kwa hiyo bag, because it was so painful. So she took the card and then gave it out. apparently ili go through. How? I don't know. I believe it's God. To date I believe it's God because me I had 0 shillings. And then mimi na kiburi yangu nilikuwa nimesema sitaomba mtu pesa, nitaka uko mpaka hiyo NHIF ijilipe. It went through because I believe it was me, myself and it was me against the world during this whole period. So see, around, I remember the contractions were so painful. So around 12-15, where my bed was seated, because ukiingia maternity wanakupatiana kwanza kitanda as they prepare you to take you to the delivery room. So where my bed was situated, I could see the delivery room straight ahead. So I think kulikuwa na mama mwingine anaza huko, but unaweza ona, so there was a watch. I remember there was a clock. The pain was too much. I was looking at that clock and thinking, God, ikifika 12:30 kama huyu mtoto hajatoka mimi simtaki, because it was so painful. It was around, the clock was going down to 4. Unajua ile 12 and 20 hapo. I was saying ikifika 12:30 mimi mtoto simtaki. By the way, simtaki. I was at that moment and it was so painful. I cannot see any other thing apart from that pain. So hivyo tu jokes naambia nas mi by the way, mimi venye nasikia mtoto anakuja kule, hapana. Si ulikuwa 8 tu saa hii. Jipe kama 2 hours utakuwa umefika 10. Niko like hapana nas. Mimi literally nasikia nikaa vitu zinatoka kwa miguu. Ako like unasikia aje? Niko like mimi venye nasikia kubuku. Ako like sawa usijali. Relax. Kidogo tu. So the contractions. Nilikuwa najikuta kwa floor and siname. Ukiteremka chini ukae ni kama una squat, uko kwa hiyo position ya kugive birth na utazaa kwa floor. Nikamwambia sawa sitasimama. So unajua nangangana nataka kusimama hivi ati ndo nikalie bed. Nikamwambia niliwika tu nurse. Anakuja. Hapana hizi kujebuka hapa tuangalie. By the time I'm telling now I was in the maternity or not the labor room. Si nimekaa kwa bed na nimebuka kaa tuone. Kupanua tu hivi kidogo, the child was there, yani the head was literally going down. I'm like hata yana panic. Ako like guy ndo huyu amefika, wait tutafanya nini? She's not even dressed up for the whole thing, so she starts screaming because za what I do, it is still the same small ward, so it was the same last layer. She's like Valentine ungefanya hivyo sahi. I'm like sio mimi, ni females amedecide nataka kutoka sahi. So she says fine, wake up tunakuja sahi. So a few other nurses, it was like a commotion because I was giving birth in the maternity ward. Normally you go to the delivery ward. So by the time avaizo vitu zake ama nitengenezee, she had already come. My delivery was not hard at all. It was the simplest, yani it was haya, tunaona kichwa, push moja, push ya pili, baby is here. I remember I was nostalgic. That was the best moment of my life. When she was placed on my chest, that was the best. I've never felt such love before. That is what I'll say. I remember I cried. She was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And I think that moment was short-lived. It was like 30 seconds because they have to rush her to the incubator, but everything stopped. I could not hear any sound. I could not hear any movement. I was just hearing her. And I knew at that particular moment, this was going to be the love of my life. And yes, so that's it. So they cut the cord, obviously. Wakampeleka huko kwa incubator. I think so. I don't know, because me, I was not in the labor room. I could not tell. Me bado nilikuwa kwa ile kitanda yenye waliniassign when I came in. So they took my child, took her to wherever they took her, cleaned her up, and then she was brought in later, like I think 30 minutes or so. I can't quite remember. The timing was off. I just remember having I was just, mimi nilikuwa dunia yangu yani. Everything was not, I could not register any other thing that was going around me. I kept asking, na mtoto wangu, analeta, relax, na mtoto wangu. What I had confidence in was that hospital was tiny. And when I was coming in, there were only 3 ladies. Oh, and including the one that was giving birth kwa the labor room. So I knew, hata kama atanibadilisha mtoto, it has to be among the 4 of us. So kuna mmoja atanipatia mtoto wangu either way. So I didn't sikuwa na shida yote where they had took her, walikuwa namuosha I think. So she came, took the bag, wakaenda kambadilisha nguo, and then they brought me my child way later, like I think, I don't know, that 30 minutes or so. So wanashona, si kuraruka pa se, I don't know if they call it kuraruka. I don't know how they call it when you're giving birth, because there's a cut. So they stitched me up and told me you have to sit on salt. Hiyo idea ku sit on salt sikuwa na get. Why would I sit on salt? No one had told me before that I have to sit on salt. Why am I sitting salt? Is it salt ati nenda na neka salt chini na kalia ama naeka kwa maji na I didn't know, ama naeka cotton. So hiyo time mama kaingia, nikamwambia mnaambia nakalia chumvi. Ati yes, utanua tu chumvi utakalia. I'm like, aje, ati wewe utaambiwa. Any conversation is not key, utaambiwa. So nikoza naanza saa hii, I was concerned ati utaambiwa. Yani tu utaambiwa was the thing. So when my child was brought in, nikauliza madam, no, Lea, the nurse, ulisema aje, nakalia aje chumvi? Akaniambia haujui? Hakuna mtu amekwambia? Na come. So she goes. Akakam baadaye, ati shift yangu imeisha but hand over to someone else, atakwambia. So hiyo part ya kukalia salt, genuinely and legitimately, I went out of that hospital without no one telling me how I'm supposed to do it. And obviously, Uncle Google was my friend. So she obviously Googled how to sit on salt. Yeah, so I Googled how to sit on salt. And I stayed in hospital for 2 days. No, that night and then the current night. So when my baby came in, see, after hiyo commotion ya kuzaa nimeoshwa, watu wamekuja wameona mtoto nini, around 7 p.m. I call my guy. Bro, come. Kagani? Kale kamtuke tu. Kagani? Kadem. Naweza na picture. Nikole suka mtu muone. Mbona nitumie picture? Sawa nitakam. Saa ngapi? Asubuhi. Saa ngapi? Juni kama naweza release wa kesho. We relax. Ndakusho kakata simu yetu. He calls back like I think around 9. Ulisema nikamdenge. Like nikadem. Ati okay. Umekaita? My mom is called Wamboi. You have not been around, so why have been asking me about my mother? I mean the name. Kama mimi mwita Wamboi. Ako like, fantastic. Hata mama yangu anaitwa Wamboi. Niko like, what a coincidence. Says fine, nakuja kesho asubuhi. Says fine, welcome. Nikuja na nini? We just gave birth, so use your brain. Kidogo tu, then utajishow. He says fine, takam. So we slept, asubuhi. My aunties came, my mother came, people were happy. Everything was water under the bridge, because I mean, a baby is like a new beginning. Everything starts and ends with her. So everything is forgiven, everyone is happy. Bill hatuna, NHIF itasort. I don't know if you're getting how happy I was. So usiku, then the next morning, now around 5 a.m, nasa ananiamsha, we, bwana yako amekuja. Niko na bwana. Ati si amejiandikisha pale kama bwanako. Anaitwa, akasema jina. I'm like, alikam. We, ngoja, me actually, I was not excited that he came. I was surprised that he came. Yani, for once, he came. Lakini, ameambiwa hataweza kuingia, because I think they'd come with a sister or something. Ameambia sister yake hataweza kuingia, but because he's the father of the child, anaweza ingia. I said, fine. Me nataka kumuona. I mean, I haven't seen this human for since the last time. So he comes in. Ati, she's so cute. Picture, cha. Si tutaonana? Sure. Never saw him again. I'm like, hold up. Hata hujaniuliza ni pesa ngapi. Hujaniuliza, how are we going to get out of this hospital? Don't even pay the bill, baby. Just ask me, do you have means of transportation from mahali huko, hata kama ni 20 bob, ya matatu, ama 50 bob, ya nduthi? No, nothing. It's like, kwanza hii kidole, cause picture, and then ako like, hii kidole ni yangu. I'm like, kidole ni yako aje? Kwetu tunajuanga wasee na kidole. I'm like, okay, fine. Me, hiyo time hata sikuwa najua. I didn't know how to react, because it's him, So akapiga picture, akasema kidole ni yao, akamake sure ampiga picture ya kidole. Akaenda by the way, akaniambia ndakushow. Niko like, uniulizi bill? Val, ndakushow, relax. Never saw him again. So my mother comes in the morning, because walikuwa wameambiwa kuja asubuhi, because they need to take me out of hospital. Akaambia, hata baba nani alikuwa hapa. Ako like, alilipa ati hebu ende ongea na msichana wako. So my mom comes, nasikia alikuwa. Niko like, hadi mimi ni kama nilimuona. Alidu. Alipiga tu picture kaenda. Hakuna kitu alileta. Hata sabuni. No, kwa sawa saa ningedu. Niwe sawa maisha yako, pambana na hali yako. So she goes, we pay the bill. My brother comes in. My brother features a lot in this story. So my brother comes in way later. He's so happy to meet the niece for the first time. And he goes like, mlilipa by the sweet ndio kusema NHF yako haifanyi job. Niko like, but imekubalika. How I don't know. To date, I don't know. And I hope the government will come back for me. But I don't know how it paid. So, tukamaliza. Tukatoka. My brother took me home. He was so happy. And then he became a constant. He's like the father figure to my daughter to date. And yeah, so that is how I gave birth. That is my delivery story. And then after that, obviously mtoto ni wa Yesu. She's surviving. She's good. And we are turning 6. Oh, we just turned 6 3 months ago. Tumetoka hosi, tumefika home. I need to know how to breastfeed a child. I'm the last one to date. So mi sijui how one is supposed to maybe hold a child, breastfeed a child. But these things come naturally, they do. How you hold a child comes naturally. How to lactate comes naturally. And easy to come to. But what Leah had told me, the nurse, alikuwa ameniambia, you might have a few, because it is your first time, maybe maziwa kutoka mara ya kwanza itakuwa ngumu. But now that one breast, hiyo niliambiwa hosi, because unajua mtoto akuja lazima umnyonyeshe. It was the most painful experience. Kunyonyesha, imagine it's not a joke. The baby was placed on my arm. It says, well, you have to know how to lactate the child. Sinaanza kunyonyesha. Mimi sikuwa mentally prepared. I thought ni kawaida. Unajua venye tu unaenda unakamua ng'ombe maziwa inatoka. I thought even though itakuwa it will be that easy. Kwa mtoto nimeanza, unajua those hospital gowns zenye zinanga nini zip nyuma, so everything just drops. And then again, your time, no one really cares who is looking at your nini, your breast or anything. It is me and my small world over here. Katoa matiti. Mtoto ameanza kunyonya. Imagine labor was not that painful. Mimi nilikuwa nasikia kutoka kwa hiyo nguo. It was so painful. It was the most painful experience. Yani ndo tu maziwa ya kwanza itoke, and then this human haoni the urgency. Yani tu ananyonya kidogo. Yani hata ile kunyonya yake sidhani tena tota katoti katone kamaji. She's taking her sweet time, and it is so painful. Yani toko you guys don't know. It was the most painful experience, but at least we got over that. But that took me like a whole 2 weeks kuzoea. She would be placed on my hand and to kudance and like yani if there's any other way, please someone let me know. But that one, it was not the best. Alafu, you cannot just breastfeed a child on one. Lazima switch position. Mimi sikuwa najua, nilikuwa nadhani mahali yuko itateremka, like someone should have told me. So this one is like this other one iko huko chini, and then no one in that house is telling me by the badilisha mtoto. No one. Ndo after like ni kama nakaa hivi and proportional like parallelogram ngwaje inaendanga hivi. Naambiwa sasa itabidi umeanza kunyonyesha mtoto hii side nyingine, because this one was so painful. Hadi imegoja, I think that is the word. Imekuwa ngumu kama mawe. So you have to massage it, and then wamama wako na advice. Atio ukiekelea maganda ya cabbage baridi itakuwa sawa. Mimi nakuja nakwambia hapana, unaona akinyonya hii side ingine sijui hata cabbage sio mzuri, tumia spinach alafu msichana ako hii side ingine, unashindwa how now, you know, because this is first week of giving birth. Everyone is coming to the house to see the child because everyone now had gotten around, you know, so kila mtu ako excited, you want to see the new baby, all is forgiven. Kila mtu anakuja na advice ati hata skari unafaa kuhesabu grains, you know, like vitu zingine hazi make sense, lakini everyone wants to tell you what to do with the child. And I mean literally everyone. Me, what I decided, because ni mimi nimezaa huyu mtoto and a mother is always right, so I will deal with as it comes. As we said, it is natural. You will know when your child is not feeling okay. You will know how to respond. If me, I was in touch with my own child, so I knew how to respond. So mtu akiniambia mtoto hafai kunyonya more than 30 seconds, sasa na akajashiba bado tu unasikia anakuvuta, why you telling me about 30 seconds, you know. So moral of the story, be your own boss when it comes to breastfeeding, okay? Because you saw una breastfeed, unakimbia. Una breastfeed, then this one happens. And then no one told me about the fatigue now that comes after giving birth. The postpartum was hapana. The depression can be real. As in, if you allow it, you can get there. At least I would say, when I gave birth, I had my support system ilikuwa increase. So kuna mtu anajitolea atanioshia nguo, someone says, hey, let me take care of the child, you have a rest, evil, you know. So at least I had a few support system on me, and that really worked okay with me. But I knew I had to do something. Remember, I'm still broke and I'm still jobless, and I have a whole human. And we say we learn from our mistakes in the past. So I knew if I sit down, probably my child will never lack anything to eat, but then that one will never be adequate. So I need to do something about my life. So the first 3 months nilikuwa tu home. Obviously kuna moments zenye una feel like today is not the day. Manze, I cannot wake up. It is not the day or the hour. The child cries, wewe mwenyewe unasikia unataka kulia because you don't know what to do. The baby is crying, she's wailing, unashinda utafanya nini. You cannot call your doctor because I mean I don't have a personal doctor, but what will I do? When you go to your mama, like mimi sijui wewe ndo wa mwisho kukulea ndio sijui 23, so vitu zingine haziyuko tu kwa brain. It's so hard. It was so hard for me. So I would say Google, and then I had joined a parental group. Not join per se. You know, when you're just going through things, you see some parental advice, and then they say if you want to receive pamphlets, write your email. So at least with that, I knew what to expect every single week. They will send you a weekly pamphlet on what to expect. So kama mtoto wako hajafika hiyo milestone, of course una feel a bit inadequate as a parent, unashinda mbona yeye hajafika hapo, but then again inakupatia some sort of hope. So they will tell you what to do, what to expect. So I believe most of the things that I did learn, I learned from that parental, I think it's called parenthood or something. I still receive updates to date, but not as hivyo mingi venye zilikuwa zinakuja. So they will send the two pamphlets, maybe three or 4 in a day. So unasoma unajua what to expect. Because when I gave birth, it was me, my child, and when everyone else comes, you know, you have to be nice, but hauko hapo. So unashindo tu, manze wanakamata kudu. Why are they even here? But, you know, I hope no one will kill me for that. But, unafeel tu, because everyone is coming in with their own advice, everything. And unaambiwa hata ufai kuna feel hivyo. When you're a mother, you're not allowed to be tired. You're not allowed to be depressed. You're not allowed to feel sad. So unakasirika na mtoto wako atafanya nini. Yet, it was completely involuntary. Yani, where hata uko unajua when you're having mood swings or maybe something is not okay. I remember my downest moment during the 3 months, the postpartum period. I think that was like ile time nilikuwa ina hit kuhit. I was asleep for I think more than 18 hours. Niliingia tu kwa kitanda, I was exhausted, I slept. So my child is crying, yani alikuwa analia, and then no one else was in the house. I think she cried mpaka akaisha sauti. So when my dad came in from work at around 5, akaniambia, he never came into the whole time he never came into my room. To date he has never came, apart from hiyo siku ndo aliingia tu kwa room yangu. Akafungua mlango, akaniambia sweetie, akaniamsha tu gently, sweetie amka. Hausikii mtoto analia? Nikamwambia hapana. Akaniambia huyu amelia mpaka hana sauti, but legit to date mimi sikusikia mtoto akilia. I think that was the worst moment because I woke up feeling what sort of a mother am I? Mtoto anaweza jilia mpaka ishe sauti na sisikii. Yani mimi sikusikia vizuri. I didn't feel like that was okay as a mom to do that. So I made sure from that day onward nikitaka kulala nimeweka alarm, nimeweka reminder, and then there's someone just walking around the house. Ndio akisikia mtoto analia na niamsha very fast because breastfeeding is not a joke. Mtoto analala 1 hour, ameamka the next hour. Mchana time yenye anafaa kuwa ameamka ndio ana decide I'm going to take my sweet sleep. So analala to the whole day. Usiku ndio huyo anakuanza. Anaamka mnanyonyeshana hapo more than 4 hours. Yani tu kuanzia 3 am ako tu hapo. She's taking her sweet time. Mtalala huko 6. So within 3 months I had applied to jobs. Unajua, if you haven't graduated, and especially in the field that I am in, it is very hard to get a job. So a friend of mine just called me from, we hadn't even talked for almost 1 year. He said, sasa, unajua Kikuyu, unajua Kikamba, kuja kuna job. Nikaling job gani nataka kuna Kikamba from our profession, I come to kuna job. So that was like 3 months. I was feeling kama Mungu amekuja. Because when the child is new, people come in a lot. Wanakujanga na diapers, they come with milk, and there's always something in the house. So for the 3 months that I was at home, my baby never lacked diapers. Unajua mimi nilikuwa nimejipanga, nilikuwa nimenunua nappy. I knew I would wake up, wash nappies because I don't have money for diapers. But there was always diapers in the house. People used to come in, food, kila kitu. I don't remember my parents spending money by the way. There was always things in the house. There was always food, but sasa zinaanza kuisha. So within 3 months najiuliza, nitatoa pesa ya diapers, nitatoa pesa ya unajua, not the normal concerns that come in. And I already knew my guy hawezi saidia. So within 3 months, at least when my friend called, I got the job. And I didn't even take my papers. What he told me ni, ukifika, please come before 6 a.m. Na ukikuja, just wait at the reception na uvae official clothes. I said, fine. Siwezi kosa official. Yani hata kama nikashati siwezi kosa. So I put on my official clothes. I was there by 6 a.m. I went, the lady says, sasa hapo, unajua kuya? Unajua seli? Yeah, sawa, enda uongeleshe clients. You're hired. Just like that. I'm thinking, Aki, have you ever cried? I went to the bathroom. I remember I cried. I was like, enye God, ile Mimba ya Nerea ilikuwa true. Kila mtoto anakuja na sahani yake. And I think that was the beginning of my professional career. So, let's go to kunyonyesha while you're working. I will go from home. Nimeenda kazi. I need to have 3 tops. And this one I had to learn from experience. Unabeba top 3 kazini because the amount of milkshake. Yani, your breasts are so gorgeous, you need to pump ukiwa kazini because yani, it's too much. Unasikia rumors ati mtoto wako akilia matiti zako zinaumanga alafu pia maziwa inaanza kutrickle. Me believe it is true. Because the amount of unakaa tu hivi, unaongelesha client vizuri. Unaona tu mtu focus imeshift from the face to below your chest area. I'm thinking mbona mtu ananiangalia hivi. Ukiangalia River Jordan. Shua yani tu inamwagika, maziwa inamwagika. So that was not so, it was easy-ish because at least the baby always had milk. So over time I learned I need to carry bottles to work. So inafika particular time you go and pump your breasts. Unaeka, jioni utaenda mtazieka tu kwa fridge, and then the next morning and the cycle continues. So that was my journey within the first 6 months of giving birth, because the baby was purely breastfed within the 6 months. There was nothing beyond the ordinary. Kazi asubuhi, and then of course mchana mtoto ananyonya. And then she was a very peaceful child. I believe she was a very peaceful child. Hakusumbua. Magonjwa zilikuwa tu zile za kawaida. No kids, and they always get to gonjwa to infections here and there. Those was kawaida. But at least she was peaceful. I believe yani whatever I had gone through during the pregnancy, God was rewarding me in abundance. She was peaceful. She was always healthy. No weird complications. She was growing up peacefully. Hata kama she was a tiny baby, because she was a tiny baby like this. So hata kama anamea gradually. And then, so within 6 months, we took lactation. Si kutoka completely, but pole too, gradually, we mixing with food. Maziwa was always in plenty because mama has it. And then, I can't remember calling the guy back, but at least he used to call mara moja moja. Ile, mtoto wangu anilaje, can I have a picture? You know. So, in fatherhood, I don't know. But at least my brother was there to play the dad role, which is good and amazing. And every other cousin of mine and uncles and aunties. Because now, ni mtoto wa community, everyone, kila mtu is super involved in the child's life within the period yote. I think the greatest lesson I have taken over the 6 years is that conversation is key, especially when it comes to parents, mothers, especially mothers and daughters, or for those that don't have mothers, mother figures. It is key. Like, how you talk to your child is very, very important. As I said, I'm a pastor's kid, and to be clear, I'm not blaming anyone in this story, but when my mom is called to go and talk to people, ako sawa. She's the peacemaker, she's the Kofi Annan, and by the time she leaves that house, everything is okay, kila kitu ina move on very nicely. But then again, when it came to my case, it was like sijui ni kama maji na mafuta. Like, whatever she was saying will not apply to her. You see, for the other girls, it is easy for them because there's an advocate for them. But for me, or people of my caliber, like pastors' kids or something, it is very hard. Not necessarily pastors' kids peke yake. For the tough parents, it is very hard. Who's going to stand in the gap? So I think for parents, conversation is key. How you react to a situation is also very, very key. You see, I had 1,000,001 options, but I chose the one to keep my child, you know. And I believe people, you don't necessarily have to be on my side, but you also don't necessarily have to overreact. So how we react, we as parents, how we react to situations can be very, very important. We also need to learn how to treat them with care, treat them with love, and any other thing that comes after that. You don't have to blow everything out of proportion. Especially if it is an anthill, it doesn't have to be a mountain. We can just deal with it as it is, an anthill. Na tuongeleshe watu. Pia unajua how the society at large, because I'm pretty sure this was not her own motivation. Ilikuwa, what will people say? How will people view me now as a parent? Like, as in, watu watasema nini? I don't believe watu watasema nini should be the thing when it comes to some certain conversations. It will always be, how is my daughter? How is she doing? How is her mental situation? Because I remember at some point, I was very, very, and I mean very, very depressed. I could not move out of my room. It will take me 3 days to just get the courage to take a shower because I was there. I think nilikuwa pit bottom. So some conversations inakuanga very important, and as young mothers, because I'm pretty sure there's teen moms, there are people who got pregnant around the same age that I did get pregnant, others way younger, but it is very hard. I know it is very hard for you. You're feeling like hapa ndio mwisho ya dunia, like without hauna any other focus. Yani, you're blinded, everything is dark, nothing seems to make sense. Unashindwa hata, what did I do? Do I deserve it? But at the end of the day, what I will tell young mothers, there's always hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel. There's always the light. You just need to see one positive aspect that will be the spark. Yani, when you wake up in the morning and you see that, you get hope. Unajua, indio, this is my motivation, this is my driving factor. Because bila hiyo, sinking is very easy. Sinking, because I have sunk and I know how rock bottom feels like. So I believe there's hope. There's always hope. There's always something to look forward to. I mean, I'm here 6 years later, with or without the calls. 6 years later, I am here. Yani, I believe we have made it. Me, I will say that. Because as a young mom, as a jobless mom, as an inexperienced mom, as a person who was not supported by anyone during that particular moment, I still made it. Unajua? And there's always hope. I think that is what I'll say. There's always hope. And there's always something to look forward to. You don't have to feel like ni kama dunia imeisha. You don't have to feel like this is the end of it. There's always something to look forward to. Whether the community is against you, whether the church is against you, whether the society is not even for you, ujue tu ni wewe. And there's always you who got you. So in whatever you do, just know that, jua, And for the parents, communication is key. Don't overreact, baby. Don't. Because as a mom, me, right now, if my daughter will tell me something, my first reaction will not be fight. No, it will not. It will listen, think about it, and then I'll react. I think even ndo tunafanya as parents. So yes, and that was my Bun in the Oven story. Thank you for listening.